Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead reading. This is for week commencing the 11th of August, and hopefully we will not have any technical gremlins visit us this week. I think I had my fair share last week. I had lights go out, I had microphones stopped working. So anyway, let's get on with your reading. Let's see, what two cards do we have? What energy is for Gemini for week commencing the 11th of August? Let's have a look, please, and thank you. Thank you. It's your first card. And there's your second. Okay, so we have success and growth. Very 8 of Wands energy. And then we have heal, which is the Star card. Very much like the star in the major arcana of the tarot. Success and growth, 8 of Wands. Very much about you doing something about it, actually communicating with people next week, putting things into action. It's a really exciting energy. It's Wands, so it's fiery. And the healing aspect of that could be that I feel like you're breaking free from something. I'm very drawn to the chains there, look, that he's broken. The kind of like energy of great sense of something that perhaps you've thought about and thought about and thought about and you're actually doing. And you're breaking free of any self-doubt and self-sabotage. Let's see, let's have a look what the tarot has to say for Gemini. So dear spirit guides and angels, please join me in this reading for Gemini and make it helpful. Thank you. Hopeful and healing. We've got your focus out already. We have the Chariot. Oh, yes. Bring it on, energy. So determined. Opportunity, please, and thank you. For Gemini, High Priestess. And thank you. King of Wands is your challenge in reverse. Okay. Maybe that's who you're breaking free from. Or that energy, I should say, because it's in reverse. What's bubbling under the surface? What's in the subconscious for Gemini? Oh, 6 of Swords. Love this. And final advice and outcome is the King of Swords. Love the King of Swords in this deck. Look at him. Isn't he just glorious? Right. Chariot, you are here as a focus for Gemini. And this is getting in the driving seat, literally, and moving a situation on. Sometimes this comes when we think, right, okay, this has gone on for long enough. I need to take control. I need to actually do something about this now. And I do really feel like that with the success and growth. And it's like, right, time to make plans, time to travel even. This is the card of travel and leaving your kingdom, if you like. But also it's about facing things full on and just, having that real, right, enough's enough. Let's get this show on the road. The High Priestess is your opportunity. Now, maybe there's an opportunity for you that perhaps for some of you, it's a very healing aspect. We've got the heal card. Sorry. Yes, maybe that's in my subconscious. That's why I said it. But perhaps for some of you, you're going into more of a spiritual journey. There is a determination to make it work. And it could be that you're setting up your own business in this, realms of spirit. That could be like tarot, for instance. I would class as the realms of spirit. You're getting downloads, you're getting inks. You know deep down that this needs to happen as well. The King of Wands, however, is your challenge, and they are in reverse. Interesting. It feels like you would clash with this King of Wands because this King of Wands would want to take control and be in the driving seat. However, I do feel more so that this King of Wands is no longer, and that's who you've broken free from. They would be perhaps an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, very fiery energy. And they like the limelight. They're a little bit narcissistic because everything they do is surrounded around for them. Perhaps this is a manager, somebody who tried to manipulate you into doing things in the past. And sometimes, you know what? People like that are put around us for a reason, because it kind of makes us realize, oh, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Let's not have that any longer. Can also mean, they're a leader. It could mean that you in the past, or you're not feeling confident enough. As I said, there's something about you not outgrown, you've talked yourself out of something before. And now it's like, no, right, let's get this show on the road. Somebody's doubted you being a leader, perhaps, which has led to something. But now it's like, I feel like you're breaking free of that self-sabotaging thoughts. You've got the Six of Swords. Again, I do feel like some of you are really wanting to look at travel and moving abroad, or literally moving away from your kingdom, because the Six of Swords is also about moving on. It's traditionally called the card of moving on to calmer waters, bubbling under the surface for you. But also, I'm very drawn to the fact that they're captaining their own ship too. Again, being in control of a situation, knowing that you can have an easier life if you were in the driving seat, if you like. Now, the King of Swords is your advice and outcome. The King of Swords is my judge of the deck, if you like. This is somebody who's very firm, very fair. What they do is they look at the black and white of the situation. They like to look at the data. Maybe there is something to say, perhaps there's lists that you need to be making to make the judgment of this, to give you the confidence and remind you also of your ability to be firm and fair, not bring your heart into it. It's a sword, so it's attributed to you are swords in the deck, so it is attributed to a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius. In fact, your last two cards are swords. I'm very drawn to the owl on there. It's about you being wise to something or somebody. Let's have a look. The Chariot, why are you here? For Gemini, please and thank you. Why do we have the Chariot here for Gemini, please and thank you? Clarified by, Five of Wands. This is what I just said, isn't it? Sometimes when we get these people put in our ways, it makes us determined. And the Five of Wands is a very determined energy, but they're very, so for instance, if you had a team of people around you, these guys would be chomping at the bit to be the best. It really matters to them how they shine, and their ego 9 times out of 10 gets in the way of everything. However, I do think we sometimes need to get in that energy to think, you know what, I ain't putting up with this. I'm going to prove that I can also be in that energy, that competitive energy. And I think that's what the universe is saying here. Maybe you are a manager already and you have to control a team who are constantly bickering, or maybe you're moving away from that with the Chariot, moving on from that. Could be a reason for you to move on. Let's see though. I'm going to do one more on that, because half of me says they want you to be in that energy. Like, if they're dampening you down and you're in that team, don't allow it. Oh my gosh, Queen of Wands. Wow, talk about take control. The Queen of Wands is very entrepreneurial, very independent. She likes to be the center of attention. As I say, there's a clash with this King of Wands for sure. But they're reminding you that you need to take control. And again, with that Chariot and that Queen of Wands, it's definitely you being in the driving seat, you having the say, but flourishing through it. I think for me, the success and growth with that Queen of Wands is you stepping up to the mark with this Five of Wands too, and getting in with the rest of them and feeling confident. The Queen of Wands, as I say, she also holds the Sunflower in her deck, which is all about positivity. So this is, rather than trying to get away from a competitive energy, I feel like they're saying, no, that they want you to do the exact opposite next week. Take control. Be that person that they can look up to and admire, because the Queen of Wands, she's so magnetic and she has a lovely demeanor about her, and she's very successful because she doesn't allow others really to dampen her spirit. She knows she's as good as the rest, if not better. Loves the attention too. High Priestess is in your opportunity. Let's have a look. Why did we have a High Priestess here? It's about trusting your intuition, trusting your feelings. And I think you're just stepping outside your comfort zone a little bit there. Clarified by the Hierophant. So straight away, straight off the bat, you have the two most spiritual cards. So there's a very strong spiritual connection here with to do with this, perhaps, you know, running your own business. The Hierophant is, as an advice opportunity, it can also mean you need to go and talk to people who really know what they're talking about, because they are very much the teaching element. They have people at their feet really admiring them. Again, the Queen of Wands is very much of that energy. This is also the Hierophant can be attributed to the card of marriage. There's something about you trusting your intuition about a marriage or something that you've been very highly committed to. Let's do one more on that. Why do we have the Hierophant here, please and thank you? For Gemini. Taking the time, nothing wrong with that. Why do we have the Hierophant here? Here we go. Clarified by the Page of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. So there's something about you having a really making your mind up about, but trusting your intuition about it, because the Hierophant is about high levels of commitment. You know that this is going to be something that you really need to put your all into. But at the same time, with the Page of Pentacles, it kind of is making you feel very grounded too. It's an opportunity also for you to be almost like an apprentice again, learning something new again, going on courses. Now, the King of Wands in reverse is your challenge. I think it's more to do with you not seeing yourself as a leader. No, it's that one. Look at that, the card of Leo, the Strength card as a challenge. This is kind of a lack of belief, self-belief here. I'm going to do one more on that because I'm not sure whether it's because of this King of Wands as a person, outside person, who makes you feel a little bit like, I don't know, you know, when somebody, you feel really confident about something, and somebody can just say one word to you and you just feel like, all right, yeah, what am I thinking? You know, what, I don't know, they're kind of like suck all of the energy out of you. Let's have a look. That is also clarified by the Three of Pentacles as a challenge. This King of Wands is not a team player and does not recognize your skill set, or you don't recognize what worthy and what you really bring to the table. But let's have a look. The Six of Swords is bubbling under the surface. Yeah, you want to move on. You want to make, you know, be in control, captain your own ship. Clarified by the Seven of Wands. That's interesting as a card of your subconscious, because the Seven of Wands is sticking to your guns and sticking up for yourself. You know, ignoring the naysayers and just taking the higher ground. So that's kind of like what's in your subconscious. You know that's what you need to be doing. Now, the King of Swords is your advice and outcome. Now, kings are, you know, mature energies and in control, aren't they? And it's almost like they're saying, no, come on, Gemini, you know, remember who you are, remember how good you are, remember how fair you are and balanced. And then we have the Nine of Wands clarifying that. And that is the card of don't give up, you're nearly there. But you do need to be that King of Swords and look at the facts of the matter. He prides himself, the King of Swords, on being very balanced and trustworthy, wise. There were some other notes I made of the King of Swords because I just thought it was an amazing thing to say. Yeah, staying true to who you really are is what the King of Swords also represents for me. I noticed that I just read some messages of the Green Witch Oracle, and as soon as I saw that, I thought of the King of Swords, and I thought I need to make a note of that for some reason, and it's obviously for your reading, Gemini. Staying true to who you really are. Anyway, let's have a look, see what that... In fact, wouldn't that be amazing? I can't remember what card came out that said that. Let's have a look. So, can we have one final message, please, and thank you to Gemini to finish this reading. One final message from the Green Witch Oracle. There you are. You got Basil, prosperity, luck, and love. Let's have a look at the meaning of the card. Basil, 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 Basil. It's so hard to find in this book. Basil, where are you? If I could understand, why can't I see it? 57, there we are. Thank you. If I could understand even how they put them in order, but I can't. My logical brain won't get my head around this one. It says, the reflection of this card is, have you been scared to take a leap or risk that may pay off greatly? Then the message of this card is, the Basil card tells you the time is right for something that you may have been hesitant about in the past. The time for planning and preparing is over. Go forth with confidence. It's an auspicious time. This is a great moment to indulge in love or take a risk. Basil has your back and luck is on your side. I wonder if some of you know a Basil. I don't know why, I just got the name Basil here too. So anyway, take care, Gemini. I hope you enjoyed that. Do let me know how it resonates. Thank you as always for being here, and I'll see you next week.